Welcome to Gardner's History Garden's AP Human Geography podcast. I'm your host and guide through this fascinating world of spatial analysis, geographic patterns, and the way humans interact with their environments. Whether you're here to prepare for the AP exam or just deepen your understanding of geography, you're in the right place. Today we're kicking off with thinking geographically, which is essentially the foundation of everything we'll discuss in the series. It's all about how geographers look at the world, how they collect and interpret data, and how maps and spatial patterns shape our understanding of global processes. Let's get started. First, let's define human geography. Human geography is the study of how humans interact with the earth and organize space. Unlike physical geography, which focuses on natural land formations and climate, human geography is about culture, cities, migration, politics, and economies. It's essentially how humans shape their environment and how the environment shapes us. For example, think about why cities are built in certain places. Why is New York a major economic hub? Why do we see deserts in one part of the world and forests in another? Human geography helps us answer these questions by analyzing patterns and relationships between people and places. To think geographically, we need to understand scale and perspective. Geographic scale refers to levels of analysis. These are local, regional, national, or global. Local scale is examining a single neighborhood in a city. For example, why is there a high concentration of coffee shops in downtown Seattle? Regional scale is looking at patterns across a broader area. For example, the economic connections between the states in the Midwest. National scale is studying a country's overall demographics. For example, the aging population trend in Japan. Global scale examines worldwide trends, for example, the spread of social media across different cultures. Geographers often zoom in and out to see how trends connect across scales. For example, climate change has global causes, but its effects vary locally. Some regions experience drought, while others face rising sea levels. Maps are one of the most important tools in geography. There are two main types: reference maps and thematic maps. Reference maps show locations as places, boundaries, and physical features. Think of a traditional road map. Thematic maps display data related to a specific theme, like population density, election results, or climate zones. We also need to be aware of map projections. These are different ways to present the Earth's surface. Since the Earth is round, every flat map distorts something. A Mercator projection is great for navigation, but distorts size. Think of the way that Greenland looks. It's huge on that map. It's not that big in real life. A Peters projection is more accurate in size, but it distorts the shape. Beyond maps, geographers use advanced tools like GIS, or Graphic Information Systems, to analyze spatial data, and GPS, Global Positioning Systems, for precise location tracking. These technologies help in everything from disaster response to urban planning. The 5 themes of geography help provide a framework for studying human interactions with the Earth. Let's break them down. 1 is location, 2 is place, 3 is human-environment interaction, 4 is movement, and 5 is region. Location is where something is found on Earth. Absolute location uses coordinates, like New York City is 40.7 degrees north and 74.0 degrees west, while relative location describes where something is in relation to another place. New York City is found south of Boston. Place, the unique characteristics of a location. So like the physical features, climate, culture, language, and architecture. For example, Paris is known for its landmarks, cuisine, and fashion. Third, we have human-environment interaction. This is how people modify, adapt to, and depend on their environment. For example, the Netherlands builds seawalls to prevent flooding. 4 is movement. This is how people, goods, and ideas travel. For example, the Silk Road spread goods and cultural influences across continents. Lastly, we have region. These are areas defined by common characteristics. For example, the Middle East is often classified as a region based on language, religion, and climate. Understanding these themes help geographers make sense of complex global patterns. Now let's look at a real-world application, how maps influence politics. Have you ever heard of gerrymandering? Well, gerrymandering is when political districts are redrawn to favor a particular party. By manipulating boundaries on a map, politicians can influence election outcomes. Another example is territorial disputes. Countries have fought over borders for centuries. The South China Sea dispute, for instance, is a geopolitical conflict over strategic waters and resources, shaped in part by how different nations map the region. These examples show that maps just aren't tools for navigation, they're powerful instruments that shape politics, economies, and societies. Before we wrap up, here's a simple memory trick to help organize your thinking geographically. Remember SPERM. I know it's weird, but you'll remember it because it's silly. So SPERM, social, political, economic, religious, and military factors. When analyzing any geographic issue, ask yourself, what's the social impact? How does this affect people's culture and their way of life? Politically, what role do governments and laws play in whatever that issue is? Economics, how does it impact trade, industry, and wealth? Religious, are there religious influences or just conflicts? Military, are there strategic or defense-related factors involved in the issue? Using this approach can help you analyze complex geographic questions efficiently. Now let's talk about how to tackle exam questions on this topic. For multiple choice questions, expect questions about map types, geographic scales, and spatial analysis. Be ready to identify the correct map projection for a given purpose. For short answer questions, you might be asked to explain the impact of globalization at different geographic scales or analyze a thematic map. For free response questions, these often ask you to apply geographic models to real-world situations. Example, explain how geographic tools like GIS help in urban planning. A great way to prepare is to study maps, practice identifying patterns, and use geographic frameworks like SPERM. That's it for today's episode on Thinking Geographically. We've covered key geographic concepts, map types, and how geographers analyze spatial relationships. These ideas form the foundation for everything else we'll explore in the series. In the next episode, we'll dive into population and migration patterns and progress, where we'll explore why people and how populations change over time. Be sure to like and subscribe and stay tuned. Thanks for listening, and remember, geography is not just about places on a map. It's about understanding the world around us. See you next time.